Let me start off. I'm here because of my knowledge of Horton, being a dancer and a teacher. I'm a product of Horton, a total product of him. My history is Horton. Growing up, always interested in dance, but it was more of a fantasy. Going to the movies, seeing musicals. The only time that it became real was when I went out to Horton's with Alvin Ailey. Yeah. We were high school chums, Jefferson High School here in Los Angeles, and Carmen Lovelock was taking classes at Horton. So we went to watch one of her classes, and that was my intro to modern dance. I sat there transfixed. Now when I think back on it, that's the aura of the theater. When you walked into that place, it was something very special. You couldn't put your finger on it. It was a magic place. We paid our tuition, joined classes, and then eventually I got a work scholarship. Both Alvin and I did at the theater. So my work scholarship was cleaning, mopping, paying for classes. The technique itself it's almost infinity. There's no end to it. That's what I wanted to impress upon teachers who call themselves teaching a Horton technique, that you introduce windows and doors to your students. Don't paint them into a corner or a cookie cut. Each student is different, and that's how Horton approached all of us. I'm carrying the mantle because it was passed on to me. Now when I start my class off, I start with that first position, getting that perpendicular, finding the plumb, so that, there's silly little ballet students rolling in on the arch when you get that. I mean, feeling, it's a physical thing. When you put your foot on the floor, you can feel your way, and use the toes. That's what they're there for. Our Simeon cousins do it, we can do it too. It's all in the technique. When you do a study like dimensional tonus, those are little vignettes or little etudes or things, like Chopin. You can perform them, but they're studies. They're academic studies. So you just sort of let it blossom. And that's the way LACHSA works. And this taught us, or taught me, to realize that choreography is language. When you choreograph something, it has to say something. It doesn't have to be literal, but it has to communicate. You just don't arbitrarily do the movement. When I came back from New York, I did a couple of television things, but nothing really in consequence. Then I got a job. That's when I went into fashion. I got into Mr. Guy and stayed with him for more than I should have. And then I got the call, got to get back to the dance belt. This is when the Library of Congress was purchasing the Horton collection. And that's when LACHSA gave me some students to prepare me to go back to Washington, D.C. With that, I went to the American University, taught there for like 3 months, and I reconstructed some of this work. Then LACHSA extended an invitation to come teach me. I loved being in LACHSA because it reminded me of being at the theater, just working with those young kids. I wanted to be instrumental in having them set up some goals for themselves, but not perfect. I hated to hear them say, oh, just go out and have fun. I said, no, you're not going out there to have fun. You're going out there to enjoy yourself. But fun, because fun constitutes to me playground. You're going out to play. This is not play. So when you're performing, you're serious. He said, there's no such thing as being perfect. When you're perfect, okay, it's time for our RIP. It's over, it's ended, because you can't go beyond that. Horton is more of a philosophy than just a mere technique. Yeah, it gives you reasons for thinking, feeling, doing. Like LACHSA says, creativity is 85% hard work, 15% talent. So if you work, and just try to do, then you're going to come up with something. If you let the ego get in the way, then you're going to settle. Never settle. There's always something to do. We don't know what tomorrow is. That's the whole kind of amazing thing about this. You don't know. And the rest is history. We lose that organic thing where we touch and we feel one another. You know, I'm the last of the dinosaurs. Well, you'll say only the good die young.